Hey everybody, I'm Griffin, and this is Theta, and this is a death battle! No, that's not our intro. Welcome to Stone-Faced Reactions, where we watch videos and then don't react to them whatsoever. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Griffin, this is Theta, and we're spinning the wheel to see what we get today. This is the mega wheel with so many options, so many possibilities. Oh, and there it goes. What do you think it's going to be? Put your bet in now.
I'm gonna go with Real Rivalries.
Ah, dang. Well, you know.
I called it before it stopped. It counts.
Wait.
Roulette rules.
Wait, A Quiet Place versus A Quiet Place 2? Hold up, there's two of those now?
Well, I think we know which one you're gonna go with.
I guess it doesn't help that I haven't seen either of them. But you know what? I'll go with the original.
Cool, then I'll go with The Quiet Place too.
Hell yeah.
Make your argument first.
So what do you know about The Quiet Place? So that I don't look stupid.
I already said you make your argument first.
Ah, no, dang it. So A Quiet Place. This is the movie where some people are out in the woods trying not to make any noise at all because there's monsters that come and get them that follow sound, right?
You tell me. This is your argument. This is your argument, Days.
It's the only one I know of, and I'm going for it, and it seemed like an interesting premise, and like nothing in like the trailer seemed all that bad, so I'm gonna say it's probably good. We're gonna learn today.
Was that your whole argument?
That's my whole argument. I'm gonna learn today.
Well, you see, the thing is, A Quiet Place 2 really allowed them to refine the elements of the first movie to the point where they were able to take away all the stuff that people detracted from in the first movie, and was able to very much... I didn't see either of these as well.
I was about to say, like, what are those things?
I don't know. Well, okay, here's the thing. I did see clips. I've seen people tearing the movie apart, and I've seen parts of it. So, like, I know the little girl dies because she's playing with a toy, and she's making noise, and the dad tries to stop her, but can't make noise himself.
I can't imagine a single kid surviving that scenario.
And it's not about them being in the woods. It's like all of humanity is gone now because they're like aliens, and the aliens invade, and they can only tell by sound.
Right, they're very isolated, basically.
I know.
That's just how they set the scene for it.
Clearly know more than you, but I've never seen The Quiet Place 2 or any ads for it. So yeah, I can only work under the assumption that the first movie made enough money that they made a sequel, and the sequel had to get greenlit based on its premise and script. And that script had to have improved upon the first movie, taking the elements that made it a blockbuster, and, you know, so I assume it had to have been better. This might be the first time I lose in 5 episodes.
Literally just a total gamble. Let's do it.
I mean, it's like that time where we watched Soul versus the other one that it was up against.
Maybe we should pare this down a little bit.
It's on the list. It gets reacted to.
All right.
Imagine a world where making a noise gets you killed, yet still thinking a round of Monopoly is a good idea. If it was my family, we'd be dead before reaching free parking. The Abbott family's much more composed, though, and is determined to stay alive in a setting full of alien librarians, hostile neighbors, booby-trapped environments, and an endless supply of hearing aid batteries. Seriously, though, you need to change those things out like daily. She must have just a chest full of them.
Need hearing
Today
aids,
we'll find out which one of these films
so that they can
is
like
the
speak
scariest,
very quietly,
most intense, and the most quietest.
We'll just use paper.
Not a good sentence at all. It's A Quiet Place versus A
That's
Quiet Place
scratching.
Part 2 on Real Rivalries.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so
no,
is replacing a battery in a hearing device.
Tread lightly.
Yeah, it definitely. There's small problems with the premise, but let's just roll with it. Characters.
Lee and Devlin have it all. The house, the kids, the baby on board quiet box complete with oxygen tank. They have a nice chunk of land out in the country. They mostly keep to themselves, too, with the exception of the occasional Lord of the Rings fireside chats with the neighbors. The only real downside to all of this are the insanely fast, highly irritable aliens that kill any sound they hear. Their kids are a sharp bunch too, although I have to say pain tolerance isn't Marcus's strong suit. Look, having a bear trap go off around your ankle isn't anyone's idea of a fun time. But screaming for 3 minutes straight, Marcus? you're just crying for attention at that point. Ironically, the world was always a quiet place for Reagan, who is fully deaf. Director John Krasinski wisely gives us little slices from both movies of her point of view during intense situations. They did have a third child before the new baby came along, but he unfortunately couldn't resist the temptations that a space shuttle always provides. Lee and Evelyn are the main focus.
Yeah,
of the
that's
first
Doom.
Story.
No, that's why the cross is
how they
there.
move around their environment,
Clearly shown
keep
that
their
already.
children safe, prepare for different situations, and just all around being a fantastic team. Speaking of fantastic, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Could you imagine if Marvel hired these two leads on to play Mr. Black Bolt and Mrs. Medusa? The fans have been yelling about it for years. Just give them to us already. Anyway, the sequel puts more focus
silent
on
characters.
Reagan and expands the cast a tiny bit more. Cillian Murphy joins her for a bit of a Last of Us road trip. Baby Abbott adds another layer of complication for Evelyn, as newborns are notorious criers. That's something Marcus has in common with them. The trap didn't even hit the bone, bud. Walk it off. Even though Jim Halpert didn't make it to the end credits of the first movie,
will kill
he
you,
still gets to do a little bit more
up.
parenting in the sequel's opening flashback. It's just not enough for me. It's like watching the Parr Family without Mr. Incredible. I needed more. I need that whole family dynamic. Quiet Place 1 wins this.
Huh.
We have more.
Scares.
A film
yeah,
becomes far more intense when you have characters you actually care about. You get invested in their well-being and fear for their safety. Krasinski plays off this angle
no more scare when you know what the
movie.
creature is.
The family is often
part 2
separated,
can't win.
making them more vulnerable. Since one false step or a bad game
I was about
of
to say
Uno
what
can
he
set
said. It's like
things in
they're in a
motion,
more vulnerable
every
situation
moment
the second
counts.
one.
The
First one, they just have
movie sees
to
our
sit down
family
and shut
hiding
up.
in the cornfield, dropping into a grain bin, running away from a screaming neighbor, getting spooked by a sus raccoon, and coming face to face with one of the aliens from Stranger Things. Part 2 definitely ups the jump scare moments. Birds fly out from a train, sounding like a Hans Zimmer bass drop. A skeleton conductor plays peekaboo, and an alien tries to catch a ride on the back of a fast-moving vehicle. The most wild scene has to be the now iconic bathtub birth from hell. Evelyn trying to remember those breathing exercises while aliens search the house for even the slightest noise is pretty horrific stuff. This is followed up with her clutching the newborn baby behind a homemade waterfall, attempting to mask their sounds from the eyeless intruder. Baby Abbott had a rough first week. In the sequel, our little infant is tossed around while mommy outruns a pursuing monster, struggles to find air inside of a cramped furnace, and honestly doing its best to stay as quiet as a baby possibly can. We don't see many survivors in the first film outside of the old man who buries his wife. Probably a good thing they didn't run into any sooner, as part 2 shows us just how awful some people have gotten, even using a kid as bait. I'll give her this much. The girl ties a meat.
Why are survivors doing that?
Definitely has more jump scares.
Why not?
I never found myself too concerned for
what do you
our
gotta live
leads
for,
like I
right?
did the first. Another
It's
round
the
for
apocalypse. Who's
original.
gonna stop you from becoming a serial killer?
I'm gonna stop you. Period.
Other than aliens, I guess.
Yeah.
This film
Thing that's
opens
gonna
with
kill
an
you is gonna
amazing
kill you, so
introduction
might as
to
well.
the new world our family lives in. We watch as Lee desperately tries to save his son before he's intercepted by Earth's new apex predator. It only takes a few frames to show the audience just how quickly these new
Just how
aliens
stupid
can
that boy
dispatch
was.
us. The family already clearly knows how dangerous these aliens are, and part 2 really spells it out with that opening flashback sequence. This portion of the film is action-packed and easily my favorite section out of the film. We start out seeing Lee pick up some orange slices for his son's ball game, and we also wince as he passes by that same space shuttle that ends up getting his child killed later on. Marcus may have a moment of relief as he's not going to have to watch a third strike go by, but that's not enough to stave off the impending doom that's falling from the sky. This nice day goes from 0 to 100 pretty freaking fast. As we watch a
that sounds like a fun flashback right there.
Wrecked by these things. The shot of an out-of-control bus barreling down on Evelyn and her kids is the kind of movie
the
magic
start of
I
everything
live for.
seems like it'd be the
first
more
Quiet
fun
Place
movie to
keeps
me.
most of its spectacle to the end. The kids slowly sinking in grain while a monster is thrashing right next to him. That's good stuff. I eat that up. Of course, Lee trading his life for his kids hits hard, especially for any parent watching. Personally, I'd always have a collection of rocks on hand that I could just throw in opposite directions, get the aliens off my scent. think it's probably okay to bring back the fanny pack for this situation. Strap that baby around the waist, unzip, toss a rock.
A pile of rocks will make noise in the pocket.
Unzipping a fanny pack will make noise.
We see two wild storylines.
Incredibly true.
And the adults go back.
Let's not even talk about Velcro.
Evelyn goes all Terminator 2 on one of the monsters, attempting to blow it up, only to watch it T-1000 back out of the flames. Meanwhile, Joel and Ellie are road tripping it to an alien-free island. Turns out these razor-sharp, teeth-filled nightmares can't swim, which feels like a very M. Night Shyamalan thing to do here.
Yeah,
they can, however, ride on boats. Cue up the final destructive act as one of the space invaders runs amok in the small community. Reagan and Scarecrow try to make it to the local radio station before Stitch makes a mess out of the entire island. The kids might make a few dumber decisions this time around, but it led to some awesome chase sequences. I guess that's enough for me to give this to part 2. It's very rare when a sequel can live up to the original. While I don't think A Quiet Place Part 2 is the Aliens of the franchise, it does do a great job of continuing the storyline without veering off in some wildly different direction or ruining previously loved characters. That said, it's tough to top an original, which is why I give this to A Quiet Place. I gave you my thoughts, now it's your turn. Give me your winner in the comment.
Well, you beat me on a movie neither of us had seen.
Fun, and I'll see you next
but
week
I'm now highly
Rant and Reel
intrigued about
Rivalries.
these movies. Like, I still really want to see them, I
the
think.
biggest thing missing in the
I probably won't because I'm
John
lazy, but
Krasinski
I want to.
One of the highlights in the original was just watching him bring his finger up to his lips slowly. In some points, he's so lost in the moment that he doesn't realize his finger is crushing into his nose. That's real dedication to the craft, and it will be missed in later installments.
Oh, yeah. Just...
Well, no, I mean, you're so in-depth and it's, you know...
Finger smells real good today. Okay. Well, I believe that was another stone-faced reaction from us on something we still haven't seen. But hey, at least I got a win in at random. All I had to do was flip a coin.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, you get to choose the next one.
Yep.
Alright, so this has been Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Griffin, this is Theta, and we'll catch you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?